Instagram. There's a series of photos there that I took from our visit with my family from Zion National Park. Yeah, it's a series of random photos that I posted on my Instagram, and one of those is a series called the Viaje series. Yeah, it's called Viaje. It's a Filipino word for travel. I don't know if viaje is also a Spanish word, but it's a Filipino word called viaje. So some of my friends are telling me that they like the way I edited it, I color graded it. Yeah, and they're asking me how I edited it. Most of them I just edited in Lightroom. I shot it raw. But every time I edit in Lightroom, I make sure that everything is in raw format because I have more room to do the adjustment from color correction, color adjustment, the hue, saturation, lightness, the contrast, and the exposure. And one of the photo from that BI series, I'm gonna share and recreate how I color grade that in Lightroom on this video. So yeah, if you guys are ready, let's do this. So this is one of the photos from the Viaje series that I will try to recreate the editing. Again, this is the before, and this is the after that I will try to redo this editing. So let's start. Okay, to start, I'm gonna reset this and go back to the raw stage of this photo. Okay, so this is how the raw looks like of our image. So we'll start with exposure. If you guys noticed, the after editing photo has a low contrast. So let's start with that. Let's lower our contrast. I don't have the exact figures or numbers when I'm doing the editing. Like I'm not really looking at it. I'm more into like just looking on the image and just playing with the slider to determine if that looks okay already for me. So that's how I do it. So right now I lower the contrast. I also give you the number, it's -80, and then I will lighten the shadow around like that. Yeah, if you can't see the adjustment that I'm doing, it's right here on the right side of the interface of Lightroom. And then I will lower down the highlights a little bit, make it darker, and then put down the blacks a little bit. Okay, right now I'm not gonna touch the whites. And then on the saturation, I'm gonna lower the saturated a little bit, probably like around -35, like that, and then add the vibrance. The reason I'm doing this because yeah, there's this thing in color grading that they say like the saturation multiply the colors, and that's why if you adjust the saturation, like colors that are already saturated is multiplied when you're adjusting it, and then the color that are less saturated only gets a little saturation because of that multiplying thing. Unlike with vibrance, it's just adding the saturation rather than multiplying it. Yeah, I just saw that in one of the like colorist that I saw how he color grades. So yeah, so I'm applying that to my image also when I'm editing. Okay, so next is we'll go to the curve tone curve tool. Let's go to the right now. Let's go to the default, which is the RGB. Here I will click on the mid-tone part just to lock this, and then I'm gonna raise the shadow part right here, and then in between the shadow and the mid-tone I'm gonna pull it down a little bit to bring back that dark feel to the shadow, but at the same time I raise the darkest part to show more textures to it. And now if you look at our image, it's really desaturated, low contrast. My actual goal to this is to enhance the color of that mountain and to bring out the gold yellow color of it. So yeah, that's the goal of it. And then later on, we're gonna go back to it to add a little bit of contrast to it to get that moody cinematic look. So we'll leave this tone curve for now, and then we'll go to the HSL slider. Here on the HSL, so since we want to enhance the color of the mountain, let's go to the saturation. Here, yeah, the color of the mountain is more on the orange and yellow slider. So I'm gonna pull the saturation of the orange to bring out that orange color and also some yellow. Okay. And then let's go to the U, and under U, in the orange, under yellow, let's make the yellow more on the U of the orange. Now if you notice, like it starts to look more on the reddish color, but we're gonna work on that, and then I'm gonna adjust the orange slider more towards the yellow like that. Okay. And then yeah, this is one of my favorite tool in Lightroom, the split toning. So here we're gonna create that orange teal gold blue look on the image. So first, on the highlights right here, I'm gonna drag the slider of the U more into the orange look. And if you want to see how orange, the adjustment that you are doing while you're dragging the slider, if you press Alt or Option, you will see how orange it is. So I think I'm okay with this orange color, and then release the Alt, and that's the effect of the orange. And then we'll adjust the saturation based on the intensity of the saturation that we want. Probably I'll settle for 20 saturation. And then on the shadow, I'm gonna pull the U more on the blue side. So if I press the Alt, I will see the blue, how the actual blue color, and then release the Alt or Option, and then adjust the U. Okay, so let's see the before and after. So yeah, it's still desaturated, but yeah, if you notice, like we're getting on that we're on the direction of that look and feel that we're trying to achieve. Let's go back to the HSL and let's go to the luminance. Here, since our sky is brighter, I can bring down the luminance of the blue a little bit. Like if you slide it, you will see the effect of it. So pull it down like that. Maybe the aqua also. Let's see. And the green also. Let's see if it has an effect on it. Yeah. And then the orange, I will raise it up a little bit, since that's the one that affects most of the tone of the mountains. And the yellow. Okay. Let's see the before and after again. And now let's go back to the curve tool. This is where we can apply a more intense coloring. I will go to the blue channel. Yeah, if you've seen my previous video where I share the technique on how to use curves in coloring, yeah, you can check it on this card right here if you want to watch it on how you can use the curves in color grading. I've shared the technique there on how to do it, how to use the curve. So let's go to the blue channel. Here on the mid-tone, let's click that, and then I'm gonna pull it down a little bit. And now I'm adding a little bit warmness to the image, and then the shadow, I'm gonna pull it up to add more blue. And then in between the shadow and the mid-tone, I'm gonna pull it down to bring back some yellow. And then let's see on the on the part in between the highlights and the mid-tone. I can bring down the highlight a little bit. Let's see how the effect of it. And then let's go to the green channel. Again, with the green channel, if you pull it down, it adds more red. So let's pull it down. If you see, like our mountain is gaining more color. Let's pull it down a little bit, and then in between the shadow and the mid-tone. Sometimes, like, I try to drag it up and down to see the effect of it. And then yeah, I think yeah, I like this, how it affects the color of our mountain. And then let's go to the shadow. Let's see if we pull this up and add more green to it. I think I'll just keep it there. And then here in between the mid-tone and the highlights, I try to drag it on the left. And then let's go to the red channel. So if we pull this up, it will add more red. Pull it down, it will add more cyan to it. Let's see if we pull it down a little bit, and then let's pull the red shadow up, and then in between the red and the mid-tone, yeah, let's down like that. And then in between the highlights and the red, I'm gonna add more red. In between that, maybe the mid-tone, I'll try to down like that. Okay, and then the highlights. Let's see, I think the highlights getting too much red, so let's down like that. Okay, then let's go to the green. Let's go back to the green. There you go. Let's do a little adjustment to it. And those that's what we upgraded. Okay, and then let's go to our temperature. Let me add a little warmness to it. There you go. And then let's start to add a little bit more contrast by pulling the slider of the black right here. And then let's go back to the split toning, and this balance, I'll try to go more on the warm side. See, if we slide it more to the right, it adds more of the warmness of the highlights that I created. So maybe we can go a little bit more on that. And then let's pull our shadow more to the blue. See our before, after. Okay. And then let's go to our RGB curve. Let's pull this down a little bit. So now we're adding more contrast to it. Okay, let's lower down, saturate a little bit more, and add more vibrance. Okay, let me slide the white balance a little bit. Bring it back to the 5000 value. And then let's go back to our HSL. Let's add more orange. And let's go back to the U, and let's bring back a little bit of that orange and the yellow. And let's go to the saturation. There you go. Okay, let's see our before and after. Yeah, it's getting better. Yeah, we're almost close to that look that that I did the last time. Yeah, and then I'm gonna add a graduated filter. Actually, I just add graduated filter here to darken the sky a little bit more. Let's create that more moody feel to it, and also here, yeah, I already added it. And then I will adjust the exposure of the center. Yeah, I will adjust the exposure of that. Let's raise it up a little bit. There you go. Let's check our before and after. And yeah, let's add a little bit more blue on the shadow part. So maybe we can raise this up a little bit. Yes. Let's create another blue here. And then on the, maybe on the red channel, we can add, and then maybe I can add a little contrast to it. You know what, let me go back the temperature to warm it up a little bit. There you go. The highlights. And let's see our before and after. Before and after. Before and after. And that's how I edit that photos in Lightroom, where I did adjustment in the contrast, exposure, did adjustment on the HSL sliders, the color separation. I hope this video gave you a basic idea on how I use Lightroom and how I edit those photos on my Instagram. And if you haven't subscribed yet, guys, I hope you will subscribe. Press that like button if you like this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. All right?